interruption before the video actually starts. I'm here talking over random unused video of me going over the place just to have some sort of something in the background, so you can kind of ignore what's coming up on the screen. But I did just want to say that I had issues with Windows Movie Maker and it would not save the video properly after I edited it, so for the probably like the first 40 minutes or something of this video, it is a slightly smaller screen and slightly lower quality because I had to actually screen record straight from the video editor because I couldn't save the video. I know I could just re-edit it, but I've been really sick all week and the video's like 3 hours and I just really don't want to re-edit it, so it might look a little weird, but think about it more in like a world building sense. And everybody, I mean, remember a long time ago, you used to probably, I mean, unless you're like 5 years old, you probably used to watch videos on your cell phone that were super tiny, that were like 300p quality or whatever. Like, just go back to there in your head and focus on the concept, you know, focus on being like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea, even if I can't see it as well as maybe I could be able to. Anyway, eventually the video goes back to normal quality, but there's like the whole section of the beginning, I could not save the footage and I didn't want to just re-edit it, so just kind of appreciate it for what it is. It's exploring the property. You can still tell what's going on. It's not so low quality that you can't see anything. I just wanted to say something about it because I know people might have the expectation if you're going over a Sims build, you want it to be like as high quality and cinematic as possible, so if it looks weird, that's why. Sorry. It's my fault for using Windows Movie Maker in 2024, probably, but there's no other ones that I like as much. Anyway, okay, so that's all. I just wanted to make an announcement. Thanks for watching. Please still watch it. It's still fine. The whole video has its integrity. It's just a little lower quality. Okay, thank you. Hello. I haven't done a video just going over stuff that I've built in a really long time. So I was inspired by this game that I saw, which I'll put up some sort of information or images or something of it right now. This thing where people were building little towns or something. I just thought it was so cool how everything was stacked on top of everything else, and then seeing a little bit of that imagery made me want to build kind of a similar thing where see how they're all interconnected. It's like one big structure. They're basically all connected by the same wall, but it's a bunch of different homes. There's some homes on the top level, the second level, and all of this stuff, and I really don't even know where to start. And there's like little shops and all this other stuff in between. So it's kind of like a giant city or something with a bunch of different houses, and you can see around the other side too. They all share this connected wall. Why am I so high in the air? Oh yeah, and see there's like a little courtyard down there that you can look into. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I think I'm going to start up top and go down. Maybe. So this is the very top level of the city? I don't know what you would call it. Little communal town apartments. I call it communal town apartments because I didn't know how else to describe it. 3 houses here. I mean, technically 2 because 2 of them have their doors here. This house is up here, but its door is in this weird little walkway crevice sort of thing. But it is still technically a house on the top level. See, like most of the places, they have their own little kind of courtyardy area. It's a place with a good view because you can count over everything from these, I want to say apartments, but they're not really apartments. These houses, these tiny houses up on the hill. And I guess I decided that they're kind of classified in sections, like neighborhoods. So in this town, in this theoretical little communal area, there's a milk delivery service, and also firewood, and a few other things, like water. You'll notice in a lot of the houses that I was going to furnish all of them, but there are way too many to furnish, so I only furnished a few. But in a lot of the ones that I furnished, they have a little water pitcher thing for washing their face or for using water in their house instead of having like a sink. Don't really have running water everywhere because it's also kind of like a fantasy town. It's not modern. Like there's no computer. Maybe a bunch of little elves live here or something. But anyway, so you'll notice when I go to some of the areas that are above the stairs, a lot of them will have little things like this just kind of lying around because they've been delivered. This is their milk and firewood drop station, which also doubles as a bench, of course, that people can sit on. Then they have a little place out here. They can look at the view. This is like the only... Now, this is technically public property, though. It's not like these people's yards. Anyone can come up here and play this chess game and look at this, because it's very communal. So this is their kind of sitting section with some flowers, and then over kind of through this little crevice. And you see a lot of people have little things outside of their houses, because again, it's like community and everybody kind of knows each other, so people are not like thieving and sabotaging each other. Mostly it's sort of very open and relaxed, so people will leave their baskets outside because they're gonna go foraging later, and you know, they're not like, people are gonna steal my pickled olives if I leave them outside. You know, they just, you see that people kind of have stuff laying around outside of their houses, because all of the houses are tiny houses also, so most people don't have room in their house for for a lot of stuff, because they're living in like a space the size of a closet. So if you're pickling herbs or something, you might keep your pickled herbs outside on your porch area right in front of your house instead of keeping them in your house. But anyway, if you look through this place, then they also have a tiny little section up here where they grow some fruit trees, a pear tree and a cherry tree and some cabbages or something like that. And also I put little gardening gloves right there, and they have a fountain. This person has like the nice fancy house, so they have the most elaborate intro area, which is basically just a bunch of fancy tile and plants, and they have one little bench, and it seems like someone's left a package at their door. I like to put stuff like that in because it makes it look lived in, like, oh, these people are receiving packages and doing things. Off to the side of the fancy house, you just kind of have this raised flower garden sort of thing, and then also this little whatever it is, and an old overgrown fountain. If you look at the other side of the house, see, they have like kind of little flower garden extending from that area. Yeah, so that's like the courtyard, the open public space walkway area in front of all the houses. I think all three houses on top of the hill I did furnish. So this is house number 1 that I furnished. I see a lot of people have these shelves in their houses with a bunch of boxes or things put on it, because again, they're living in spaces that are very, very small, so they need lots of storage space. And here's what the house looks like from the outside. It's built into everything else, but I gave everybody different window stylings and different door styles and different roof styles and stuff. So they have their own character, even though they're sharing a wall, you know? So when you walk in, you have a little this is what I mean by, a lot of people have this instead of like sinks. Water basin thing to wash their face in, and a bucket to pee and poop in. Or maybe they have a chamber pot like under there or something, and they have their toiletries and stuff, closet of clothes or linens or something, and this is kind of their kitchen space. So something to know about this communal city apartment, whatever the heck it's called. There are community kitchens and lots of restaurants and stuff built into the structure of the town, and there's also a communal bathhouse and things like that. So a lot of people do not actually have to have a kitchen and a bathroom in their house, because they have public areas that are clean and easy and accessible to them to just get food and get a bath and stuff. So that's how they're able to fit a lot more homes in a smaller space, because really you kind of just need a bedroom. But a lot of people do have these like mini kitchen type of things that are like it's a place to store non-perishable food so they can snack. Because even if you get your meals 3 times a day from some communal kitchen area, every once in a while you're gonna wake up at 3 in the morning and want like a cookie or something. So everybody usually has bare minimum. They have a little bit of water to wash their face, but they don't have like a full sink. Only like 2 people have actual bathtubs. Most people do not have actual places to take a bath. Place to poop or pee if they don't feel like walking all the way down to the communal toilets in the middle of the night, and they have like a little snack corner. So this is their like kind of kitchen, sort of like snacking eating area, and then they have under their bed, see, they have this big structure thing where their bed is. Because the people at the very top of the hill have really tall houses. The people in other places have shorter houses, but because they have a tall house, they can kind of layer it, so they've stacked it. They have their bed and a little light and some books they're reading, and this is all their clothing and extra blankets and extra things. They have these herbs hanging, which is kind of cool because you can like sit on the bed and reach the herbs. So they're hanging really high, but because you have a platform to access them on, they're like not actually that high. They just have a few boxes and books and stuff kind of set on the platform beside their bed. And they have I like this little plant. This is, I guess, part of the structure, or some sort of post holding their bed up, and they just put a little plant on top of it. Another box, they're reading some books, having some coffee, things like that. They have another plant up high. You see this little hallway. They have, a lot of people have stuff like this in their house too. A jug of water, like spare water. Underneath their bedding area, they have kind of like a little study sort of place. So they have all their books stacked here and another bookshelf and some potions and some notes and stuff they're working on. It's hard to get to. These are such small spaces, it might be kind of hard for me to like show them well, but... And that's this house. I guess there's 2 people living here. I mean, the bed is for 2 people. There's 2 seats at the table. So it can either be 1 person that has people over sometimes, or maybe 2 people. And this is probably the most impractical and extravagant. I don't know, maybe this is like the elf that founded the town. Foundation of industry or something. So they're very wealthy. And they're able to have an impractical house, because they don't really have a little kitchen area. This is the extent of their kitchen area. You see they don't have any water stored. They don't have any extra stuff stored. They don't have any miscellaneous things. Because technically, they do have running water. This is the only running water they have. They don't have a sink. They have 1 tap of running water, and they used it for the bathtub. But, like, they don't have spare stuff around. Because they don't have to have a store of their own food, because they're not cooking for themselves. They don't have to have a kitchen in their house, because they can just go anywhere and have other people cook for them. So, like, it's really just a giant living room. Their whole house is just a fancy seating area where they can have coffee and cake. But anyway, so this is the entrance room. I don't really like the colors of this. So I was going for, like, white, gold, teal, greeny teal, peachy pink, and then, like, a pastel powdery blue. And that's kind of, I mean, it works, kind of. I feel like I could sit here modifying things forever, but I furnished the houses last. I did the outside of everything first, and then I did the inside of a few places. Because this place is so big, by the time I had done all the outsides and it was time to work on the insides, I was just like, I don't know, it's good enough. Like, I'm not gonna spend hours trying to get the colors exactly right. This is their fancy bedroom. Mostly just gold, white, and powdery blue. I didn't really incorporate the pink as much in here. Diary sat on a little table, and they have some big flowers. And this is their vanity desk sort of area. Kind of simple, kind of plain, because again, they don't need to hoard stuff because they can just get anything they want at any time. They don't need to like keep painting supplies in their house, because if they ever wanted to paint, they could just like go buy an easel and then get rid of it when they're not using it anymore. A more minimalistic space. And this is their bathroom. One of, I think, maybe the only people who actually have a designated bathroom. I do like the color scheme in here more, because it's just like gold, kind of tan, pale purple, and white. It's very tall, so it's really hard for me to actually get in there. You're kind of seeing a very weird angle of it, but they have a little thing. They have a mirror, thing to wash the face, a few little perfume bottles and other stuff like that, and they can look out the window from here and see, oh, whatever the hell that is. Some sort of build that I didn't finish. But I can see the trees and stuff, too. I guess this window opens somehow. I don't really know how, but just pretend that it opens, and they can step out onto their little deck area. 2 parfaits of some sort. They can sit in their little chairs, and, oh my gosh. And look out. So that is this fancy house. And I like this little thing. I don't know why. I just think it's a cool detail. Like, they have a sitting space, and they have this one little see-through sort of section. And then this house... Okay, before we go in, let me tell you. I did not finish this. This is like a draft. I got tired of it, and then I never actually went back to it, but I only have 1 day to record this video because it's about to be really hot again, because it's summer weather, so it's like we're in a brief period of like rainy and cool weather. It's 90-something degrees outside. It's usually 80 degrees in my apartment or more, which means that if I'm trying to play The Sims and record a video at the same time, my computer just overheats because the ambient temperature in the room is extremely hot. So I was gonna finish this, but I didn't really have time, so I really needed to record this today. So if the colors don't make sense and it looks weird, that's why. I guess we should start on the bottom floor. So actually, let's go to the second level. Boink! I love that there's so many little alleyways. That's part of what I like about it. This open area here, and then there's like this little pathway. So you would go up the stairs and you go down this little pathway and down this little back area right here, and then you have this kind of bridge sort of thing. Do you see how the house is sort of hanging? Supported by a lot of other structure, of course. So you walk on this bridge, you get into this room. And this is like the opening room of the house. This is where the front door is. Again, it looks unfinished because I did not finish it. You have a sitting area and a table, newspaper and some other stuff on it, and a little cabinet of things. And then they have kind of a small kitchen space, like flower patterned wallpaper and these teal windows. This is a fireplace, which I assume they also use for cooking. Like, in a lot of these houses, if somebody has a fireplace, it basically doubles as a oven as well, buckets, the various little things, a little orange tree, some spices, miscellaneous kitchen stuff. You might have bread. I put bread in a lot of the houses because I thought that's like a good non-perishable thing that even if you were living in a communal area where you can go down and get food from the giant communal kitchen at any time, you probably would also want a few non-perishable things in your room. Bread and fruit and cookies, I feel like are good for that. So they go up this ladder, and when you go up the ladder, you get into the bedroom. Again, I know the color scheme is a little bit wackadoodle. It's basically like dark teal, and then a dark blue, and then a purple, and a peach, and a green color. Because see, there's these little dots of green. Looks sort of weird, but so that's a kid's bed, and that's the adult's bed. And then they just have... They also have a kind of clean space compared to a lot of them. This is one of the less cluttered homes, not only because I didn't finish it, but also I think it just would have been less cluttered anyway because they have more space. I mean, they have this huge closet, so a lot of their stuff is probably just neatly stored away in there. Even though they have a nicer, bigger house, they still don't have running water, so this is their sink area. And this is an area for the child to play. I like looking out the big open windows, though. It's kind of a nice place. Oh yeah, and they can look down at the, this is like a public area with a bunch of restaurants and stuff down here, which I'll show later. So this is kind of like a double level house. So it's technically on this level, except for you just enter it on this level instead. The whole first level at the top of the hill. Here's the full view of the outside of all of those houses. See, they have the same kind of windows going down, and they have flowers everywhere, which I think is cool. I like the red flowers with the dark teal. Over this place later, they kind of have like a garden on the roof, sort of, so it's like a whole other level. And vines going up the sides and everything. So that's the whole outside of the first level and the first level. So then we'll go, imagine you go down these stairs, and now, and I know none of the stairs have railings. I mean, I know that's a hazard, but I guess they wouldn't. I don't know, or I feel like it would look kind of weird. They don't really have, I wish you could put railings on one side of stairs. I thought there was a trick to doing it, but I don't know how to do it anymore, so. So the level below features all of this, so there is this little walkway thing that we'll get to, but I'm gonna go over this part first. You go up those stairs, and now you're on this level. Put these chickens out so that it kind of looks like they're running around the... Because in reality, there would be, like, probably stray chickens and cats and squirrels and birds and stuff running around this whole area. There's a lot of, like, nature interwoven with the houses, and people also have their little chicken coops where they're letting their chickens run free, so... like a communal chicken coop, I think. And then there's, like, bees in front of this house. And you have some communal crops. This is a apple tree, just kind of growing in the middle of everything there. And you see this person has some stuff in front of their house, some firewood, a bucket, probably for water or other things, some miscellaneous. People have like barrels and supplies and stuff just sort of laying around, because I thought that made it look more realistic, that somebody would get a shipment of a barrel of potatoes and it would just be kind of left outside their door. 2 little flower boxes and a sitting area, and this is like the milk crate that I guess the milk person came around and they delivered all the milk, and then once everybody takes their milk, they put the crate back here, the pickup area, so then the milk person will come and pick up the crate again at the end of the day and then refill them for tomorrow morning or something like that. You can still kind of see a nice view from here, and you can see a lot of the these lower pathways, which would be full of people doing stuff, you know. It'd be like a good people watching spot, I think. Because you can look down onto what's going on, and you can also look over here. This, of course, sort of winds around. There's some plants growing on this person's roof. And it winds around to, like, this little sitting area. Whoa! I've fallen, like, 5 stories. Oh my gosh, the camera's going crazy. So you see this little sitting area, which is off to the side. This is also kind of a nice place, because it's sort of secluded. Because, like, this is a big public walkway. People are going to be walking up and down these stairs all the time. But if you kind of go, if you're over here in this sort of secluded spot, then people are probably not going to see you as much. Because the only people that are going to be walking through here are the person who lives in this house and the person who lives in this house. You're not really going to get a lot of other traffic. And so you have this little trellises growing up there. So this is a little sitting space that's also part of this level. Mushrooms growing because it's a very shady spot. There's other stuff on top of it, so... I did not furnish this house. I used flamingos to mark the houses that I wanted to furnish before recording the video, but I did not actually really furnish it. I just put a few ideas down. So conceptually, I thought it would be cool to have a sitting space right here. This is like one of the main courtyards where everybody's hanging out and eating and stuff, so you could like secretly people watch from your little bench right here. And I guess I just thought that this rug was red and gold. It kind of looked like I might be able to make it match with the window somehow, but it didn't actually do the interior of that. Anyway, so this is the second courtyard section. And then through here, there is a little tiny door right here. And there's also the window to someone's house. But it's kind of covered up by a bunch of trees. This is also a window to someone's house. So if you go through this little door, then you're ending up inside here. So there are some houses, or apartments, whatever you want to call them, that don't have an outside entrance. I mean, they do have an exterior entrance, but it's like their door is not walking right out onto the street. They sort of have a little alleyway sort of thing where their doors are. So this is one of the alleyways where people have these houses that are kind of more tucked away in the interior of the space. A window into the alleyway, but then they do have a window to the outside too. So they can still get some natural lighting, but these are probably maybe less desirable places to live because you really don't get a lot of natural lighting in some cases. I think all of them have some exterior windows. This is probably the worst place to live. It has no exterior walls that actually face the outside. It's totally sandwiched in between other places. The only window you have is a window into the alleyway. So you can't really like see the clouds or anything. But anyway, so this is the first of the sort of tucked away alley apartment houses. If you were going to your house, you know, you would start at the entrance way over here, and you would go up these stairs and then up these stairs. And then you would go into your little alleyway and into your house. See, this person has had letters left for them, I guess, by the mail person, and everybody's got a few little things. They have a pot. This person has a delivery of vegetables waiting at their door. And then there's also, you know, firewood, buckets, water, little ladders, things, miscellaneous things that are kind of used by the community. Like this firewood is probably shared by like all of these people, if they even have fireplaces in their houses. I think some of them probably would if I furnished them, but very small ones. A little planter here, and see the empty milk crate? Because they haven't gotten their deliveries yet, and some stuff. This person has a bike outside and a little stool with a pitcher. And then on the other side of this alleyway, if you come out of it, here's this back path. Secluded, kind of ivy, viney, overgrown area. Just a random section, and there's a chess table for anybody to play, and a little bench. And this also leads around to the back, a front path and a back path. This is more the back way. And then around here, you have another tiny little apartment sort of tucked away on the side, and they have a very weird long entranceway. So they've put some flowers there, and they have a lot of supplies like herbs they've gathered, and some gourds, and some grains or something, and little pouches of things, and a bucket, a little lantern. And this is the inside of their house. This would also be an interesting house, actually, to have. Because, you know, aside from it being kind of tucked away in a weird spot and less accessible, these places are kind of like, they're in the front entranceway, they're in the main section, they're part of the action. This is where everybody's going to the shops, and where they're getting vegetables, and all the main courtyards, and all these big, bright walkway areas. And then you also have this back section, creeping around in these secret stairways, and all these little dark alleys and stuff, so aside from the fact that you're kind of on the back side of the whole complex or whatever, it's kind of a good place. Because you do get, I mean, it's more spacious than some of them. And you're right next to the raised garden thing that's on top of the roof of the tavern. You can see everybody at the bar, and you can also see people at the restaurants in the lower level. So I was going to say it's more quiet because it's on the back side, but then it's probably not actually more quiet because you're like, this is the main bar and this is your apartment. So maybe it's not quiet, but this house, when you go through, they have like a little garden. This is probably one of the best houses too because you actually have so much outdoor space. Most people do not have that much private outdoor space. There's lots of outdoor space and there's lots of plants, but it's usually the front of your house is also a public street that people are going to be walking by all the time. Whereas this is like privacy. Just a garden just for you. Aside from the fact that these people can look out onto your garden, there's so many trellises in front of it, they really can't watch you that much. So I mean, maybe it'd be weird that you basically share a window with your neighbor right here, but otherwise you kind of have your own little private space. And it's not that bad to look out. I mean, you got a good lookout spot. Have some tea, hang out. Even though in a fantasy world, I don't think these high-rise buildings and this big bridge would exist. Just pretend it's not there. Bird bath and a place to paint. And it's a really big interior compared to some of them. So that's this floor. You have all these little clusters of houses here, there's clusters of houses here, you have the alleyway that goes down the back stairway, and also this sort of courtyard area for the front stairway. The next floor is going to be even more complicated because they get increasingly bigger as you go down. Start on the front side. All these little houses all next to each other. And there's another person whose house is like off a floating little pathway. This is one of the main streets that you can go down. Enter through here, come up here, and you would come up these stairs, and then once you come up these stairs... Oh, he's got something to say. Is that true? Oh my goodness. Are you telling me the truth? So you would come in and you would walk past all these little shops and everything, and then you would get to this level. And I guess the first thing next to you would be this. Somebody who just cooks, I guess. It's kind of like an informal restaurant, because they have some restaurants actually like down here and everything when I go through some of the underground parts, but this is more like a food stall, like an open restaurant. Just have some meat, some onions, a big pot to cook in, some prices and stuff. This is probably somebody that lives in the town. Every morning they come down here and they just open their little permanent side street restaurant sort of thing. Then over here, there's this house with all these flowers in front of it, and see, oh, the milk delivery was just made because nobody's gotten their milk yet because all the bottles are still in there. They have a birdhouse and a little kind of garden coming off of their house. I was gonna furnish this house too because there's a flamingo there, but again, I didn't really get around to it. So this would be a cool little space to have. Also, you see they have a package outside and they have some firewood and they've got a little platform with some plants on it. And then this house is kind of like an informal... There are lots of places where the people who live in the town kind of have set up their little craft areas. Like, oh, that person makes jam. So just like right outside of their house, they put a little shelf with jam on it that anybody can walk by and buy a jam. Everybody has their own little thing that they do that contributes to the collective or something. So this person... which I was also going to furnish this house. They have all this clay and stuff. They're like a sculptor, and so they just put their sculptures sort of just in this random place outside of their house. Anybody who's walking around the streets or whatever can come by, and they leave some money in this jar for the sculptures, or they leave whatever they're trading for it. So they might like trade a block of cheese for a teapot or something like that. So this is sort of where the sculptor of the town has their wares on display. To the side, this is the front of this person's house, where they have two little chairs and a pitcher with some tea and everything, and they have this big planter of purple plants. I really like the color scheme of this house. I like this little section, because again, it's kind of off to the side. This, you're going to get a lot of foot traffic right here, because there's people going up to the other levels, and there's people going here, there's people going down there, but this is sort of off, a little corner. You have your firewood, you have your bucket, you have your flowers, you got the bike. You would turn and you'd go down this alleyway where all these people have their houses. You have plants and some, I forget what they're called, doormats and wind chimes and a few hanging flowers and stuff. This is what it looks like from this angle. So you go down this walkway, and once you're down that walkway, I see there's these little hanging things. I like little details like that. I wish there were some good clothes hanging things. I don't have any. See, in this corner, this is another place where people just leave miscellaneous supplies that are for everybody. Like an extension of the alleyway. From here, all the way down here, and then all the way down this little alley, and then you're in this public area. This is a really good space to look out, because it's got, like, lots of clouds, and the ocean, and all of these trees and stuff like that. Public table for anybody, they can come sit at it, and then there's a bench and another place to play chess. And this, like, florist station or whatever, I guess belongs to this person, their house. I think they have an interesting house, too. They can look out kind of over all the main stuff. I meant to put flowers here, but I forgot. Just pretend there's flowers there. And you see off this walkway, these people have some, like, apples and things they foraged or whatever, sort of sitting in baskets outside of their house. And these people have... you know, various, like some firewood and some barrels of things, whatever. And this is the little milkman container and a bucket, and this person has a package also. And then also right off of here, you get to this place. They have like a lot of windows compared to some of these other people. A few flower pots and some boots and just a little light outside of their door. So then from here, oh, I think I have to go around the back way. So this is the front half of this section. Also, this whole section, which you can only get to through going around the back. Instead of going through the entrance of the place, you would go around this way, and then go around this way. Because see how there's like a little bit of a path? You would go through this section, you see this part. This is like the back stairway of the place. There's some shops. The first level is where a lot of the shops and stuff are. Go up these stairs. Up these stairs you have this kind of just little secluded section, the back stairway. There's just some barrels and miscellaneous things and a little pitcher. Maybe somebody sat on this bench drinking water. This interior, exterior, like indoor, outdoor. You're basically exposed to the outdoors, but you're behind walls. You kind of sit here and look through these things. You can watch the people at the cafe. And then you pass through this area, and this is kind of just a, like, nothing area, I don't know. Because this is the back of the place, this is probably where people who do repairs on houses or upkeeping the whole town, this is probably where they store some of their stuff. This back stairway is, when you go up here, that leads to that place that we saw before. The other secluded area. Flowers, and there's another sort of raised planter box thing. You go up this back stairway, this is how you get to the other houses, because this is another grouping of houses that are kind of off in an alleyway. These people's front door, they have some plants and a little window out to the alleyway, and these people got a package and they're growing one single cabbage. And there's a broom. And then just some miscellaneous linens hung. This is the milk delivery and a basket and some firewood and stuff. There's a few barrels here, but they have nothing in front of their door. In this house, they have like some hanging plants, a little stool to put plants on, and some pots and stuff. And they have a little tree and a place to dry their paintings and everything. And if you go through this alleyway, this is how you get to the main pub area that we saw in the other section. Which is kind of an indoor-outdoor bar, too, because it's just kind of hanging over here. It's like open to everything. If you were working in the bar, this is what you would see. You would be like, well, I don't know what that big white thing is, but you'd be able to see out. See, they have all these mismatched chairs because they're kind of just piled in chairs from random places. They have like one rug out here, I guess, just to make it not look as cold and dingy. Somebody's reading the newspaper and drinking, and this person's having a bread roll. A few little places to sit off to the side, and then some miscellaneous supplies and barrels and things like that. This leads to one of the main, like, kind of underground shop street areas. So this is like a really busy place. It's like the center of town and the center of nightlife. If you were at this upstairs bar kind of place, you could look down at everybody. I furnished everything that's exterior. So like this person's deck I furnished, and I hung up flowers, and they have a little sitting area and a little pot and stuff like that, but the actual inside of the house, I did not furnish at all. I left most of them blank. So yeah, that's that floor. Basically, you can start here, and you can go around to these places, and go around these places, and here, and then you can also kind of go around this way to the outside to the back stairway, and then from the back stairway you access the bar and all of these apartments. And now I'll go over the few that I furnished. None of these I furnished. I have some asparagus and some bread in this one because I was gonna furnish it and I thought they would have asparagus. This one is actually where the librarian lives. So you see, there is no door, actually, to this one. It's literally just a small place with a window, because the actual way that you get in there, this is like covered shop street. So actually the librarian has to enter their house through the door of the library. And then in the side of the library, they have a ladder right here, which is how they get to their room. So even though their room is on the second level, there's no entrance or exit. I mean, I guess unless you hopped out of the window. But they actually enter their house on the first floor. It's probably one of the smallest spaces. Some of these shopkeepers have really tiny bedroom house spaces because they are using basically all of the space to shop. So they kind of just have to like shove their bed in the corner somewhere. So you'll see that with like, I think the butcher and the florist and stuff too. They're living in like tiny little crevices off the corner of their shops because they used all of their space for their shop. Of their tiny little bed with a window next to it which can double as a shelf, and they have some miscellaneous stuff on their shelves, just some boxes and books, and again, big boxes of stuff stored up high because there's very limited storage space here. This is basically their bathroom section. They have the little thing of water and a mirror, and then they have a chamber pot under here, and then they have this dresser over here. And this is kind of like their little tiny, extremely small kitchen area. They have a few non-perishable goods and things to snack on, and then they also have these cabinets up here, which have more boxes and miscellaneous stuff on top of them. And then this is probably where they keep their clothes or something, and they have a stuffed animal. This is a wall decoration, but I'm saying that this is something that it's like a big stone plate that they put down over the ladder when they're sleeping. I thought it would be kind of weird that front door to your house, how you get into your house, is like a public shop. So basically there's just this open ladder at all times. So anybody who's in your shop could also get into your bedroom, you know what I mean? So I think this is like a platform that they put down over it when they're either when they're sleeping or when they're in their shop during the day and they're not in their room. Here, come into this alleyway area, and then this is the artist's house. So they have this tiny little area. And this is kind of cool. They have this little thing. They share a wall with the bar, so probably not a very great location in terms of noise. But they do have this little outer thing, which I guess the window kind of slides because it couldn't really open out and it can't open in, so I guess it's a sliding window. And that's why I only put plants on one side, because if only this side slides open this way, then they really couldn't access this side as much. Theme is kind of like blue and red, mostly because that's the color of the stained window. So they do have a nice stained glass window. I mean, that's cool. They have their bed, they're like working on some things, they have a little calendar, maybe some pills or something, and a little plant candle. This wall just is like storage. They have a closet thing, crafting things, and papers and things, and then this is the place that they paint, and they have their sketches. This is kind of like their front door in table / bathroom area. They have the place to wash their face and everything, but then they also have set mail down there. And then this is their tiny little kitchen space. Apples, some onions, this is their milk. They've gotten their milk delivery for the day. They have some books. Just so there's like a little sitting space by the window for them to eat their breakfast, and this is some bath stuff. So because there's like public baths in the bottom, I assume everybody sort of has a basket of their own bathing things, and they just bring their basket down to the public bath. Like, it's pretty cozy, you know, very cozy little artist space. You sleep here, right next to the window. Scoot across, because you can't actually, like, get out of bed standing up. You have to scoot across the end of the bed, and then scoot onto your stool, and then you get up, and then, you know, you have your breakfast over here in this little corner. Look at this house. I thought this would be cool to furnish, because it's kind of like, it's like they have more house than you think they would. You enter here, and then you kind of go around this whole curve, and then you have an exterior wall here. This is another house that is 2 different levels, but their entrance is on the 2nd floor. Kind of like, just like a sitting area. I guess this person socializes a lot and they invite people over often, so they want an indoor space to invite people over. It's a very weird color scheme. Not very cohesive, but again, I wasn't putting that much effort into them at this point. So you see they're having a snack and reading their mail and reading the newspaper and having some tea. And then they have this ladder. And see if they go down the ladder. Then this is on the 1st floor. They're another person where they have no entrance to their house from the 1st floor. They have windows, but the entrance to their house is actually up there. So like, they could be standing outside of their window here to get to their front door. They would still have to walk all the way around here, all the way up here, all the way over, and then enter their house on the 2nd floor. They do actually have a toilet. They're one of the few people that has like an actual toilet. Because this is also their bedroom, they've sort of portioned it behind a little wall. And they still have to use this stuff as a sink, because they don't have, like, a working sink. So this is their little kind of bathroom section, and then this is where their bed is. Kind of a nice little cozy bed area. I was going to put some shelves with stuff, but again, I was kind of like... You can tell that some of the interiors I put a lot more effort and thought into than others. A fireplace type thing, where they just have a little bit of, a little pot of something kind of warming on the fireplace, and... very limited, very small pantry section. Here they have their desk with a big chest with, I don't know, I guess their belongings, maybe their clothes, something important in there. Very simplistic interior. I did not really do a lot with this one, but I just think it's interesting that this looks like a chimney, and maybe it used to be a chimney, but it's not actually a chimney. This is where the stairway is. So it's like they've modified it. Maybe the house used to be 2 houses with a connected chimney, and now they've made it just 1 house. And so with that, that's the whole 2nd level, so now it's time to go to the 1st level. I guess we'll start here. There's a little bus stop bench, and this is like the main entrance. See, they've got some flags. Right in the front is where they have a shop that's got like produce and wagon of various gourds, and they have their prices and stuff listed here. So this is like the first shop that you come across when you enter the place, because this is the entrance to the whole place. So you walk in here on the 1st level, and down to this side, this is somebody's house. This is the bakery. This is the butcher shop, and this is the florist. And then right here, you see you have this like whole place where you can overlook this courtyard. But in front of the courtyard overlook, there's a trash can, and this is like the main mailbox, I guess. Any mail that's coming from outside of this miniature city, mail person comes in and drops it off here. And then somebody whose responsibility it is in the communal town to take all of the mail from these big mailboxes and take them to the people's houses within the place. And then this is just like a sign, probably saying something about the mail or something like that. And I like this house. They have this like trellis of flowers sort of built up around their things. They live on, I mean, this is where everybody pretty much is entering this entire complex. Constant traffic coming and going around here, so you kind of want some privacy. It's like they've built a little partition in front of their front door. So this is a public space, public bench, but then on this side, it's like that's their own little private area. This is a sign that's talking about the shop street. I will go through the shops over here first. This is a bakery. Pretty simple. Just a little bakery. You got bread everywhere. This is the oven. I put 2 ovens on top of each other, so it looks like this big oven type of thing, and there's like eggs and dough and all this stuff the baker is working with. There's like some flour on the floor. If you go back here, this is the baker's house. Like I said, a lot of people that own shops, they have smaller homes, kind of. It has a pet frog, and this is probably where their clothes are. This is how they wash their face. Maybe this is a chamber pot, or maybe it's a cooking pot or something like that. They're having some tea, they've got a photo, a book they're reading, just miscellaneous stuff kind of up on the shelves. And they don't really have a kitchen area, because not everybody has to. It's like an option, because again, they have the big communal kitchen, so like, if you want to keep 0 food in your house, you can. You can just walk down the alleys and go get food every day. So maybe because they're a baker, so if they ever actually want a snack or they want bread, they can literally just walk into their own shop and sneak a croissant in the middle of the night or something. And then this is the butcher's shop, which has these open slat windows, I guess, maybe because meat can stink or something. I don't know why I did that. We have some meat hanging here. I kept it kind of simple because I really don't know what's in a butcher shop or like what type of stuff you'd have. I kind of wish that there were some like hanging sausages or something that I could put somewhere, or some sort of like hanging meat aside from this, but I have limited. A lot of this is custom content. That's another reason people have asked me if I put stuff up on the gallery before, and it's like, I feel weird doing that when I use so much custom content, because I know that all of that's going to be gone. Like, if you look in this room, like, this is custom content, this is custom content, this is custom content, this shelf is custom content, this is custom content, this is custom, like, I use so much stuff that's not in the game that I feel like if I ever put up anything on the gallery, like, half of the items would be missing. And then it would just look weird. I use stuff from the live edit objects as much as I can. Like, these are not custom content, these are all in the game. All these fish. But some of them are custom content, so it's like, I don't know. But anyway, I wish maybe there were some custom content sausages hanging or something like that, because it looks pretty plain. I could probably add more, but I just didn't really know what to add, because I don't have a lot of butcher shop stuff. So then, when you go back here, this is where the butchers live. I guess it's like somebody and their partner or something. There's 2 people that live here, because it's a 2-person bed. Got a typical shelf with some boxes on it. Little lantern, and you can tell they're like drinking some wine and reading by the candlelight before bed. They've got tapestries up on the walls, because I guess in a stone place you probably kind of get cold, you know, you want to hang up tapestries and stuff. They have a big wardrobe, which is most of their storage, and then a few other little tiny things, and a place to hang their hat, and a chair. And they don't have much on this table because they have to climb over this table to get in their bed, so I didn't think it made sense to put a bunch of vases and stuff right here because they'd just be knocking them over all the time. And they get a look out into nature. Even though it's kind of a lookout into somebody's yard, so then that might seem kind of weird. they just have a view to somebody's yard, but I mean, at least they get something. And if you come over here, this is the florist shop. It's like florist slash garden supply, because they also sell like dirt and all these containers and shovels and seeds and things like that. So they make flower arrangements and they sell flowers and plants, but then they also sell like planting related things. I think, yeah, they don't have a little house connected to theirs, so the florist lives somewhere else. They don't live at their shop like some of these people do. So along this alleyway, you have all this stuff. And this is where you get into the main shopping area. First of all, this is like a public bench to sit on. I don't know what is making this weird shadow. That's so weird, but that's a little public bench to sit on, and you can look out over this. It's kind of interesting. There's like one little window. You can look out through this. And then this is it's a honey and milk shop. I don't know why that's what this one person works in, but that's what they do. They basically make honey products and milk products. Cream cheese, butter, honey butter, and like sweet creams, and then they also sell milk and raw honey and stuff. I feel like because it's a small little communal town area, people can have weird specializations where it's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that does stuff with milk and honey. We've just got jars of milk and jars of, this is like Skyrim, custom content from Skyrim or something. There's these little things to the side where the doors can close. I tried to think about that so they're not just open all the time. And then back here is where this shopkeeper would live. So they actually have kind of a big house connected to their area, because they enter their house right here, and then they enter their shop here. And then here you have a fortune teller, kind of like tarot card reader sort of person. They have like a really tiny little shop front right here, which is very simplistic. I think I was probably gonna decorate more, and then this is another thing that I forgot about, but because I definitely meant to put stuff on the shelf. But alas, you know, it is what it is. I've got to get this thing recorded before the 90-degree weather hits. And this is where they would live, back here. This would be like the owner of the shop's house. And see, they do enter their shop through here, because they don't have another door. So like these people enter their shop through their front door, whereas the tarot card reader does not actually have a front door. They enter their shop through the public entrance of the shop, and then this is the entrance to their house. And then this is the cheese shop. Probably they work closely with the milk and honey person, but they're their own shop. And it's just cheese, maybe some preserved meat, but mostly just cheese. See, they have this thing where their doors close at the end of the day. And they also, this is the entrance to their house. The entrance to their house is in their shop. So they would live back here. The cheese maker would live in this place with really tiny little windows. So for that side, you also have a place to make, I guess, like, telephone, in this fantasy world, maybe like telephones, early telegrams, and like records exist or something, but like they don't have computers or anything, so, or like cell phones, so this is like the main place in the town that you would go to make phone calls or something. And on this side, when you come in this way, there's some newspapers out here, because this is outside of the bookshop slash library. I feel like you can rent out books, but you can also buy them, maybe, like maybe half of the books you can buy and half of the books are owned by the library and you can just rent them out. Have the book displays right here by their windows. These lights, I think, you know, it's a fantasy world that's kind of low technology. I think maybe they do have electricity, but just very limitedly. Kind of like how some places do have plumbing, but most houses don't have plumbing. Some places do have, like, these lights might run on some form of electricity, but it's very primitive electricity. Most people still don't have electricity in their homes. So that's how I explain the occasional light like this that wouldn't make sense in a non-technologically advanced place. A desk to do administrative library duties on, and this shelves and stuff. A few little places to sit and read. And they have a nice window that overlooks like the entrance to everything. That's kind of cool. And then across from here you have the, I guess it's kind of like a seamstress slash tapestry maker, like just like general fabric worker type person. This is their little shop. And they have this stuff, and they have a mirror so you can look at yourself in the clothes. They have their tapestries hung in the windows as an advertisement and hung all around here. So they have, these little things are, I guess, calculators for people to calculate, because I guess they're buying stuff. You know, people are giving them coins. Scissors and a bunch of rolls of fabrics, and they have a loom right here where they're weaving stuff and some other, this is all custom content. Spindles of yarn, big work table right in the middle, and some stuff hung in. This door, which is actually a doggy door, but I'm pretending this is a tiny hatch, leads to here. So this is actually seamstresses, the loom worker, whatever you want to call it. This is their house. They have a front door entrance to their house right here, but they can also get into their house through their shop. They have like a secret hatch from their shop to their actual house. They have kind of a, for somebody who owns a shop, they have a huge house, even though they don't have very good windows. They're very, very tiny, very paltry windows. And then to the side of that, there's just some advertisements and miscellaneous and like a bench to sit at. And then this is the main area that I was talking about earlier. This is a little kind of like open restaurant. They sort of have walls, they sort of don't. They have lots of ventilation. They don't really have much there, just their cooking stuff and aprons. Few little things hung on the walls, and then this is like the main seating for that area. People would come out here and sit and eat the food that they get from here. And then of course this is like the main cow or goat or something like that. Then in this corner back here you have a little tiny drink shop, and there's kind of nothing on this side. You have this little place to sit. And then of course there's more chickens down here, more chickens running around, and there's some lanterns and stuff hung up for decoration. And this is one shop. This is a restaurant. Some like old lady who comes in here and cooks, and it's very bare bones. I guess these panels would kind of slide closed at the end of the day or something, but it's kind of just like an open cooking area and a bench. There's a few chairs and tables kind of around here, and there's another little, maybe like a coffee shop or something like that kind of right here. And then across from that you have the ice cream shop, which I don't know how ice cream exists. I think it's kind of like this big marble thing that I put. Maybe it's like a giant block of ice or something. I don't know. They don't make ice cream in a factory way. They make it in like an old-fashioned way, and then they just put it in these little containers. But maybe like a giant vat of milk or something, or maybe this is what maybe they make ice cream with magic. I mean, if you're an elf and you can do ice magic, you take milk and then you apply your ice magic to it and make it really cold, and bam, then that's ice cream. So, and they also serve some drinks. See, they have some bubble tea drinks. Half of them became empty. I don't know why that happens. Sometimes when I load the lot and load back out of it, the bubble tea drink that was there is now just an empty container, but just pretend that there's tea in them. It's just kind of like pale yellow, flowery sort of themed. It has this stuff and it has a little sign for ice cream, and then they have this tiny little sitting area right in the corner over here, where they can have the ice cream and the milkshakes and stuff. So this is like the main courtyard section. See, there's like some clothes hung, there's lots of vines, there's some stuff. I really wanted to hang more lights and like streamers and stuff like from this part to this part, but none of them are the right size. And then I guess, so on our journey, we've started here, and we've gone down all of this, and across all of this, and across all of this, so now maybe we'll go down here. And then from this whole area, with all the shops and everything, you could walk down this alleyway, and then this is how you get to the public kitchens. So this is like giant, like communal eating area. It's not a restaurant owned by an individual person. This is like a public service type of place. It's open 24 hours a day. You can come here at any time. And there will always be like at least like 2 people staffing it from the community. And they cook from a set menu and they just put out food. Like this is just like communal food they've set out for everybody, kind of buffet style. But if you have money and you're willing to pay, they will like make a special thing for you or something. And they'll rotate their menu, you know, week by week or whatever. Kind of like in a school cafeteria, you know, set things that they have on certain days or certain bulk foods that they always kind of have around. And it's also sort of a hangout spot. I mean, as any place like this would be. This is a little thing with coins in it, I guess, where they take tips and stuff. These places, they do have running water. They're one of the few places that has, like, because obviously if you're going to give any place running water, it should be the communal kitchens that probably use a bunch of water all the time. They have some tea and some food laid out for people to just come by and grab. Just pull up a seat right here and eat right in front of the kitchen. Or they have all these tables. This is another place where it's kind of like the alleyway homes. Sort of like the ones that are up here. Your entrance is sort of in a public walkway. This is even weirder because like your front door, there's like people eating their meals right in front of your front door. So I made it where these people don't have as much in front of their doors. Like, you know, they have a few little things, but most of them don't even have doormats. I mean, this person has really decorated. They have a whole flower box, and they have a doormat, and they have a whole flower right in front of there, but most of the people who live right here, they do not actually decorate the front of their house, because it would be like if your front door was like in a restaurant. And you can also come and sit by the fireplace, hang out. There's not really doors because it never closes, because you kind of just like rotate staff. There's always somebody in there who's going to be cooking or making something. Since most people do not have actual kitchens in their houses, and you know, there's no way for them to actually make food, this is like the primary source of food for the community. Because when you go to the restaurants, you do have to pay for the restaurant food. Like if you went here, you would have to pay them something, or barter. I mean, you could be like, I'll give you a chicken egg for my meal or something like that, but you do have to at least give something in exchange, whether it's money or whether it's an item or something or a service, to like these private business owners that own the restaurants. Whereas here, unless you have a special request, like if you want them to cater your party or make a special cake for you, then you're gonna have to pay. But if you're just eating the buffet style stuff that they have already made, then that's totally free. So people in the community, it's like a pillar. Everybody comes here to eat all the time. People are having some like soup and some things. These people are having some tea. There's also a fireplace on this side to keep it a warm space during the winter so people can gather. And this is like a place where I guess they would write like what they're having that day or what the menu or the special is or something. The apartments on this ground level, I feel like that would be the benefit. Like, it would be weird that basically your front door is in a restaurant, but at the same time you get a lot more space than other people, because these are pretty spacious compared to some of the ones that are upstairs. This one's kind of cool because it has a window. It has one single window, but the window that it has looks out over all of this stuff, so you'd be able to people watch like crazy. I mean, that'd be a great people watching space. And you are kind of sharing a wall with a restaurant, so maybe you would get like good food smells or something. So this is like the public eating, public kitchen area. I don't know what the hell this is. I cannot get this one piece of floor to go away. I don't know why it's there. Just pretend that it's pretend that it's grass. So they have some firewood and some pots of stuff, and so then we'll kind of complete the loop and we'll go over here. This, again, this is when you come around the back way, like I showed earlier. This is a kind of like a tea shop, like a drink shop, mostly tea. They have a lot of ingredients. They make like custom tea blends and like coffee, and so they grind up like beans and herbs and dried flowers and things like that and make them into various smoothies, drinks, juices. It's sort of like a general drink area. They have some tea and coffee boiling on their stove, and they have a bunch of water, and these are all the herbs and spices and things that they're putting in their tea blends. And they have lots of various different types of teapots and jugs, and they have some coffee sitting out, so it's kind of like a cafe, kind of. They've got some honey, they've got some pitchers out, and then back here would be where they live. They're the person with the decorated front door. What kind of suck though? Because like literally the only window they have is like this one. So they can watch people at the communal kitchen eat, but they don't have any view of nature. And they don't I mean, I guess they kind of have view of nature from their shop. I mean, that's okay. You get to kind of see outside there. And these chairs, even though they match this, chairs are actually for this shop. So the tea shop, this is where people come and have tea. I think I would like this part too, because it's very secluded, you know. You're kind of off. You're not on the main street area. You can read a book, have some coffee, so on and so forth. So this is the potion shop. Some sort of mage that concocts potions that lives here. This is their little interior. You can tell this is one of the ones that I actually did put effort and thought into and didn't forget about, because there's all these all the little ingredients and the mortar and pestle and stuff and a big jug of water. And then they have a huge shelf of just a bunch of bottles, and they have the bottles and the books. Frogs kept in a jar, and this is their alchemy station where they're making notes and making little potions. Yes, these are like potion samples. They make some pre-made potions, and then they also make some custom potions. They have like, maybe this is their pricing or something. They're saying like, okay, I'll make you this type of potion for this much, and blah, 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 blah. This is a potion shop person, and they live here, which is actually a place that I did furnish, though it's a very tiny place. So this is their big file cabinet, which I guess is maybe where they keep all their potion recipes or something else like that. And here's their tiny bathroom area. You know, it's the typical thing where they have a pitcher and a mirror, and that's it. And they've got blinds over their doors because they're a private, dark person, I guess, because they're a potion person. They have a sitting area right near their front door with some books, some potions, some coffee, some miscellaneous things. Containers of just supplies and stuff in their home like everybody does. And they have these big shelves up here, which is where they have their main personal storage. Their bed is kind of in this little crevice right here. They have a closet kind of at the end of the crevice. And then this is their main personal desk and work area. I mean, this is their work area too, but this is their private work area where they scheme new potion types and do different studies and, I don't know, look up stuff about magic. And they have a little violin, because I guess they like to play violin. I was gonna put some stuff up here, because I thought, like, probably if you had this small of a space, you would use this part of the bed as a shelf. I put a candle up here, but then I kept thinking, like, the candle is just gonna burn this wooden shelf. So I took stuff off of there, but there was the extra detail of stuff added to there. And this is one of the people who's here. So actually the entrance to their house is near the florist shop. And it sort of winds around, and this is the door to their shop. So it's kind of like, I like how interconnected everything is. Once you go all the way through there, you can go out here, and this is sort of like, it's like an exterior walkway. You know, they have a few flowers, they have these benches you can sit on. Obviously, see, I have the dirt, so people do walk by this path. And this is somebody's house that they actually have a yard and a fence, which is very rare. They have a really tiny house. However, they do have all this space. Maybe this is like one of the main crop farmer people who gets some of the crops for the public food place or something, but they have their little thing of chickens, and then they have some places where they grow stuff and some bees. And if you go around here, we're back where we started, on the first floor, where we're at the bus stop now. So from there, we can go around to this section, which is a section of the first floor that I haven't even shown yet, which is where people are having picnics under this tree. So this is like, this is an alternative way to get into the complex. This, I think, will be a tree, I don't know, a pear tree. There will be another tree right there. Really not a lot of open space when you look at it, like there's not a lot of yard. This area is a business area, so not really, and this is all business area, and this is all business area, in the sense of like, people are walking back and forth here all the time. So this whole loop, people are doing always, so there's not really a lot of like, space that's just off to the side to sit. This is one of the few nature spots that doesn't really have anything going on near it. People come here and they do picnics sometimes, so pillows and some food, and then these people have a picnic set up with a little bit of parfaits and stuff like that. And from here you can go into this section, and then from there, this is the main well where everybody gets their water from. So this is like where all the main hubbub is happening. This is kind of like a, almost like a, you have the back entrance over here, and then you have the side entrance, I guess. This is the main front entrance, and this is like the side entrance. Still walled in, but this is your little, kind of a little area off to the side where you have the well from the outside, and you pass through this random little area, and this is somebody's house, of course. Very simple barrel and a basket outside of their house, and there's like a bucket sitting on this bench right here. And then this is the main water source area where everybody comes to get their water, and then this is like a miscellaneous like storage, I don't know, just like stuff. I think this is like stuff that like anybody could take. You know, like if you need to repair something in your house, there's just random wood piles and barrels and stuff laying around that don't really belong to anybody, communally shared. Some trees, some like land plots of growing stuff over here. Don't have much outside of their house, just a little planter with nothing in it and some stuff. And then this is a tiny little bench area, I guess, to give people a more secluded space to sit. Can sit here and like watch the well or something, watch people come to the well all day. These are the side stairs that also lead up to this level. The one we were on before, where it's got this stuff, the people with the bike in front of their house, the librarian lives here and stuff. Instead of going around the front and going up these stairs, you could also go around the side and go up those stairs. And that's why I did this house. I furnished this house because I thought it was like an interesting spot, because they have like a window right on the middle of the stairway. This is these people's house. 2 people. It's actually 2 single beds pushed together because that was smaller than a double bed. You come in the front door, you have your little bathroom area, kind of, the pitcher and the chamber pot, and you have some boots and storage up here, closet. There's a curtain in front of this, of course, in case they want to close it, but it's weird. You could like watch people's feet walk up and down the stairs all day. You could like analyze the boots people are wearing or something. And there's a little shelf with some linens and some books on it, and then they're reading a book next to their bed, and this window looks out over this courtyard thing, which I'll get to soon, hopefully. Jeez, this is so long already. They don't have a blind on this window because like people can't really see in from anywhere. So, and then this is their table. So one of them sits on the bed, uses that as a seat, and the other person uses this actual seat, and they have a random cabinet just for storage. And this is their sort of miscellaneous kitchen-y area. Have this fireplace, all the pots and things, and then some other stuff kept in these cabinets. That's that little house. So that's this whole first floor. So now we'll go to the bottom floor, which is you go through here. And then you go through here, and this should be quicker because there's really not as much here. There's this stairway. Down that stairway, you get down here. This is the opening stairway to get to the lower levels of stuff. You have 2 benches here and some flowers, just a generic area. If you go to the side, this is like a public sink area, like washing station. They've got some fountains and some sinks hung on the walls, and then there's also just a place to sit. This is kind of bare because it's a really public area, but it's like it's kept very clean because the whole community uses it like every single day, so it's not like there's gonna be a bunch of trash or things or furniture laying around. This is the public bathrooms. They have some public towels and things like that for people to use, and each one of these is a little bathroom stall sort of place, and this is like a bath. It doesn't really look like it, but just pretend that it's like built into the wall, you know, like it's supposed to be carved out of the stone that the rest of the place is made out of, especially because it's underground. And these are 2 public showers, which would look different. They'd look more like old-timey showers, but I don't really have any custom content like that, so. The bathroom I also didn't put a lot of effort into because I didn't have the right looking stuff. If I had actually had proper old-timey looking toilets and old-timey looking showers and like, you know, pipes and stuff to put everywhere, I don't know, maybe I would have done it, but it's kind of just like, yeah, this is where you shower. This is like a bath, a big room where you can take a private bath in here. They do have a private bathroom for people who don't want to bathe in the public baths. The bathhouse is like a social area, you know, it's like a hub of where people sit in the water and gossip and stuff like that. So this is the public bathrooms, and this is like the public bathhouse type of area. It's basically like a big pool, but then there are some walkway things in the middle of it. Because if it was just like a big pool, there wouldn't really be anywhere for anyone to hang out. It's a big pool that's broken up by these things where like you can like sit here and just put your feet in the water. You could like sit here. You see they have a bunch of like buckets and things. They have all these buckets lined up for if people want to do bath stuff with the buckets, and they have some towels provided, and they have some of these things, and it is open to the outside so it does get sunlight. Cause see, this is like the area around it, so it's very hidden. I guess here there's this little, you could probably jump off of here into the public baths, but you might get hurt. This is where's this? Oh yeah, this little house. I forgot to show that. So they can climb out of their window, and when they climb out of their window, they can get onto this tiny little unsafe ledge deck place where they have a chair. So they have a little chair so they can look out at the truck in their neighbor's yard, which wouldn't exist in a fantasy world, but it's clean water, even though it's like open to the elements, it's still clean somehow. Maybe they keep it magically clean, maybe there's an enchantment over it, and they have these little fountains and stuff which will spray water down. Then on this side of the stairs, you have the main hangout area. It's kind of like a bar. There's this little restaurant-y thing. It's like they serve like the bare minimum, like if this is such a big hangout place for the community, it's like they serve some food, some bare minimum, like some sandwiches and maybe like 2 soups and a few drinks and stuff like that. Maybe like a community center almost, sort of. You have some music to play music, and then there's bunches of, you know, barrels of stuff as usual, little supplies, and a chair to sit in case somebody working in the kitchen gets tired. Lots of plates and stuff. They have a little bar front and a cooking station and some actual running water, because they have running water down in the basement areas. And they have all these tables for people to sit at. They have this little sitting area, then all these sitting areas. These are game playing tables. I think they're like card tables and stuff in The Sims, so this is where people would go to do like puzzles or games. Eating areas, and these are more, there's a little fireplace down here to keep the whole space warm, because it is underground, so it's probably a risk of being cold. A place to go to sit and eat, hang out with the community, invite people from other neighboring villages over. And then here they have these sections, like this is another section to eat, and then it's kind of cut off, because behind here is more entrances to people's houses. This is it's another case where somebody's front door is basically in a restaurant or in a public area. Because you have this whole community center, and then this is where you enter your house. Milk delivery has come and been sat by their front door, and they also have some wood. So like this, up until here, is still kind of part of the community center, and then after here it's not like public space anymore. And these, it's kind of like the basement for the whole town as well. They have lots of supply stocks back here, because see, they have the same thing on the other side. Tons of containers of stuff and old preserved stuff. Community storage. They have a public bench and a fish tank and stuff, but then there's a divider up past that. And then past that divider is where there's a few more entrances to people's houses. They've got milk and onions and a package. They got lots of stuff in their front door. Then if you actually go into your house, and then you go outside of your house, then you reach this courtyard. So they're kind of like bad places to live, but also good places to live, because like it might be inconvenient to have to go all the way underground and past a bunch of people to get to your front door, but then you do get this really nice little courtyard place. I mean, you still have to share it with your neighbors. I mean, it's not a private courtyard just for one person, but this is like a second well. It's like an older well that they don't really use anymore, because they use that main well up on the ground floor that I showed, but this one still works. It's just like maybe one that used to be used a long time ago and it's still kind of available, but it's not really used that commonly, so it's sort of just randomly in this private space. Like you can have an ancient well in your front yard, I guess your backyard. This is probably kind of like your front door. This is your back door. See this person, they have some jars that they're preserving and some apples and stuff out of their back door. They have a place to play chess. They have a small fountain. This person has seating and a few plants outside of their door, and this person has a lot of jars and stuff outside of their door. Maybe they do some sort of preserving or work with something. This person has a lot of flowers and to hang their clothes. And this is like seating area and having tea, and this is the one house that needed actually furnished, so you would have to walk past all of the people in the community area playing cards and drinking and stuff, and then you get to your front door. They have a little place to hang their coats, and they have the typical jars and bottles and stuff. The chimney for this is actually in their house, so they have kind of like this big brick stack in the middle of their home. That's okay, they've worked around it, they've put stuff around it. A big closet with storage on top and some boots and a backpack. Storage, and then they have their little shelf thing next to their bed. This is kind of their tiny kitchen. They have a few apples and a little bit of milk and some stuff in jars, maybe a few like jams or pickles or things like that. More storage up here. It's not actually a bag of money. I was just trying to look for a different bag. Pretend there's not money in it. Here they have a little table they can both eat at, where they have a bread roll and some cheese and an onion, a thing of water or something like that with a plant. They have their actual bed with a few tapestries hung up near it, a bookshelf, some plants. This is their quote-unquote their bathroom area, where they have the little pitcher and the mirror, and they've apparently are doing something with gourds, and they sat them down on their little stool. I think this is kind of cool though, because it'd be like a cool place to look out. They have like an open window. Maybe they get good breeze, good air in their house. And that's their little space. And I think that's the whole thing actually. So we'll start at the bottom, go up. These are all apartments, or houses, whatever. These are all houses, with the back doors here and the front doors there. You have these little alleys you can walk down. This is the community area where people go to play games and have basic food and stuff like that. This is the community baths, this is the sinks, this is the toilets and kind of some of the baths, and then you go up these stairs. And when you go up these stairs, you're in the main restaurant-y type of business area, and then you can walk through to all the other businesses, and you can walk through to the florist and the butcher shop and stuff, and then this is the front of the place where they sell produce and everything. There you can also go around to this eating area, the public kitchens, this little side area where people have tea and stuff, and then this person's yard where they actually grow things. And then around here is the well and the picnic area. Everywhere that's these dark things are like apartments people could live in. From that you can go up you can go up these stairs, or these stairs to get to this level. Which this level doesn't really have businesses on it, it's mostly just houses, because all the businesses are kind of on the first floor, and so this is all just living space. You have these houses, like this little street right here, and you can go down to this little place, and all these houses, and then you have the back stairs right here, where you can go up to this alleyway with these houses, and then the bar. And then from there you can go up these stairs, or these stairs, to get to this place, where there's also just living spaces, where there's an alleyway, and all these houses, and these houses. Finally, you can go up these stairs to get to these top houses. So that is the whole place. A huge place with a lot of little crevices. Oh yeah, and look here how there's these streamers kind of hung up. I thought it'd be cool to have extra decorations. Whole place, I've gone over all of it. Let me know if you've watched this whole thing, what your favorite place is and where you would live. Because it's not just something to try and get comments. I'm actually curious because I don't even know where I would live. So many like pros and cons. I feel like somewhere like this could be cool. You're off the back stairway. You're not in front of everything. You kind of get your own little spot, but then at the same time it's like, this would be cool. This would be a cool place because you have your own little deck, you have outside, even though it's really dark in your house. But then you're also next to a bar. Maybe like a place like this. You can people watch from here, but you do kind of have your own little space, sort of. But then it's really tiny. This could be a cool place because you have an upstairs and a downstairs, but I don't think I would like climbing up a ladder. Places are way bigger, but they also have like no windows. If you lived in like this house, you could have multiple rooms, but the only natural light that you have is just right here from your front door. You have no other windows anywhere. These have more natural light, like you have windows here and here, but then it's a much smaller space. I don't know, maybe I would choose something like that. Because your entrance is kind of off. You know, you're not in the main thing. This is like the main walkway. You're kind of off to the side behind a bunch of trees. A secluded alleyway entrance. And you have some natural lighting coming from the back, I guess. I really would not like to have a front door here. Because there'd be people eating right outside of my house at all hours of the night. But then the trade-off, again, you do get a bigger space. These are huge places. No, maybe I'd want to live here. Kind of off from everybody, and you don't share walls with anyone. I mean, you have kind of a creepy walkway to get to your house. You're sort of walking on this floating pathway, but a moderate amount of windows. I mean, pretty good windows. You don't share a wall with anybody. You're kind of secluded off to your own. You're on the second floor. It's a good people-watching spot, because you can see everybody going around here, and you can also see everything there. And, I mean, you have windows on all sides. And you have this little balcony thing you can walk out in. Maybe that would be what I would choose. The walkway would scare me a little bit. I would be afraid that I would fall into the courtyard or something while I'm leaving my house. Windows on all sides, that's kind of a luxury. You're kind of away from all the main action. You're not like living right next to a bar like some of the people over here. Anyway, so that is my giant, super crazy, super city, giant communal town. I like the idea of living in a place like this, thinking about how a town like this works. Like when I think about fantasy world building and stuff, like the idea of everybody kind of being interconnected and piled on top of each other, and living spaces that are distinct yet they're sort of all mixed together, and everybody's like sharing walls, and everybody's kind of got their own. There's like the person that does the milk and the person that does the mail. It'd be really easy to live there because you could just walk to everything. Need bread? Just walk to the bakery. And it's all like self-contained. You don't have to actually go anywhere. Okay, anyway. So that's that. Thanks for watching if you watched this.